Grado is the Daft of the Football Daft podcast.
Is that a good story? Is that a good story?
I've got an encyclopedia brain.
He's got a day man nothing. Fuck's sake. Why are you a fucking hoot?
This is Football Daft.
You're a Rangers man. I'm a Hearts man.
With Kieron Cameron.
I work for Showtime and ESPN.
And...
For the top end of Stevenson, Grado!
And here we go. Is Kieron Cameron back yet, Grado?
No.
Oh well. Stuff him. It's David Tanner here. Delighted to be your stand-in host again today. And I have to say, you have been all over my TV set this week. You've been all over the papers, all over social media. How are your hot balls?
Aye, they're good. It was a good wee experience there on Sunday night, getting to do the draw. I done the Iron Brew Cup last year, so it's a wee step up.
It certainly is. It certainly is. How did you find the experience? As you know, I did one or two of those for over the years.
So were you involved in the Rod Stewart one?
Oh yeah.
And what was that like in the...
Well, I remember we were at Airdrieonians. Celtic were playing Albion Rovers in the Cup. And I saw a picture pop up on my phone on Twitter, and it was Rod Stewart arriving at the ground, and he's wearing a fur coat and this kind of leopard print scarf, and he was kind of posing like it was like a starfish. Yay! He'd obviously had a good kick at the ball before he arrived at the ground, and but it didn't really cross my mind that he would be like that when he did the draw.
And
Yeah. And so when I was introducing him, I was in a different room. So I said, over now to the draw, we've got Alan Stubbs, the president of the Scottish FA, and Rod Stewart. This was just during the break. So that I was saying that, and all I had was, "It's Sir Rod Stewart, David." And then it was, "Where's David? Where is he? Where is he?" And he started looking around, and I thought, "Oh, someone's in good form."
Aye, because I remember the FA, because the FA guy did call him Sir Rod, and I think see as well. Did Stubbs no make an arse as well with the 6 and the 9?
No, that was definitely Rod. Was it? No, actually, he might have done Stubbs. He might have done that.
Right.
But the interesting thing was that Rod, Alan McRae was the president of the Scottish FA at the time. Rod was kind of just giving his bottom a wee tweak as it went on as well, and it was just a bit bonkers. But I knew he was pissed when he pulled out Auchinleck Talbot against Real Madrid. I knew he was steamboats, but it was a good laugh though. I mean, he was spamming it up and picking, and he was showing it right to the camera. Talking of cameras, however, now come on, how many cameras were on the cup draw?
Well,
could you not have found the bloody camera?
So in the rehearsal, they had sat the two cameras, and we done the rehearsal, and we need to point it to that camera. But there was also a telly as well, which was showing like the live feed of the actual sports scene. So we rehearsed, and then we went to do it live, and they moved the telly and they moved the camera. So as soon as I pulled out the first ball, I'm looking to find this camera. It moved to just to the right of me. So then I'm fucking trying to find it. As soon as I find it, they tell you to leave it there for 3 seconds. I leave it there for 3 seconds, but in that 3 seconds, I can hear Thompson and Michael Stewart absolutely pissing themselves because I'm fucking getting like that. I'm like a traffic warden directing traffic.
You were like a Dalek.
Aye. So then, because they were laughing, I couldn't hold them a laugh. It was like being at assembly, kind of like at school, and like somebody's let off, and you're not allowed to laugh. That's what it was like. I was biting my lip, and but it was a good laugh. Do you know what I mean? I came away from it going, "Oh, for fuck." I goes, "Was that all right?" They were going, "It's fine." And then obviously it blew up on Twitter and everything, and that was a good laugh. I
enjoyed it. I'm just thinking back over the years, some of the guys I did the draw with. Andre Villas-Boas was Chelsea manager, Biffy Clyro, Marcello Lippi, Italy World Cup winner coming in, Brian Laudrup, Lubo Moravcik, Gary Anderson came in with the World Darts trophy he just won. And this year, they've got you. And I think you topped a lot.
What was it? A guy in the Daily Record said Grado, who, for those who don't know, had a brief spell in River City and done a Tea in the Park awareness campaign. That's all I'm fucking maybe known for, aye. That's what I'm maybe known for. Do you know what I mean? Who's he ever pinned? But anyway.
Well, exactly. It's a good,
you know what I mean?
a good question. What about the guy you were on with?
Oh,
Now,
but Kieron-
were you standing in a hole?
No, he was 6'9", so
away you go.
I look like a midget. I asked for a box, but they wouldn't give me one. But he was a great guy. I think he goes round about the Fitbit teams, and he'll take basketball lessons just to kind of for morale and to spice up the cardio at the Fitbit team. So it's quite interesting to hear his story. He's worked with a number of SPFL teams, and he played in the NBA as well. So he had a lot of good chat. It'd be good to get him on this podcast.
And a basketball player on
basketball
a football
player.
podcast.
Aye.
Loving that.
All right, fair
That's
this.
a stupid idea. Tell me this. What is 13? Ferrten.
Is that the way I said it?
It's 13.
Oh, sorry, David.
Say.
And there was also a few folk as well going, I got a few, see some of the tweets, it was scary.
Oh, you're getting battered.
In terms of, he picked out Rangers as a home draw.
Yes,
Sure.
28. You actually cheered when you pulled out 28.
Wow, scary the way some folk going, man.
Yeah. Listen, I did the draw for years. You
Somebody even went, watch his left hand, watch his, I was shitting myself.
It is a nerve-wracking thing, because if it goes Pete Tong, you know you're in the papers.
Aye.
It only went Pete Tong about half a dozen times when I was doing it. The time that the ball burst open. Oh my God.
But you know what I mean?
Remember that?
People were going, some of these fucking butthurt folk going, it makes a mockery of Scottish football. Fucking day one.
They said that about Rod Stewart. It went viral.
It went viral, and it went around the world.
Yeah.
So eyes were on William Hill, the sponsors. Eyes were on Scottish Cup. All right, maybe it shouldn't really be promoting fucking somebody steaming on the telly. I can see their point of that, but it gets eyes on the game. Know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
By the way, can I just say one thing? It's the worst Scottish Cup draw in history. No decent ties.
There was
What
nothing
are you
really.
playing at?
I know.
I always look at it from a television point of view, and I'm thinking, and I know I shouldn't, but Dundee United Hibs, probably the only decent one there.
Celtic Thistle.
Thistle Celtic. Yeah, decent. But on current form, you can't see an upset there. Sorry,
I want
on the Jags, but
I wanted. It would have been good. I was excited to pick something out for let the Talbot gone somewhere. They've played at Hibs and Hearts recently. Would have been good. That's if they get by Arbroath. But there was nothing.
You didn't see that coming, though, did you?
I did, because I think.
You said Arbroath would cuff them.
No, well, I take it back.
You're allowed to change your predictions after the game on
How
this
did I say?
podcast.
Did I say that Arbroath would pump them? Did I?
Yeah. Well, certainly you hoped that they would pump them.
Aye. What did you do the weekend?
I didn't do the cup draw,
No.
which I was quite pleased about, actually. I don't miss that part of my life, because I used to it was terrifying, because anything could go wrong, and you had that audience just sitting there with the knives going, shh, go wrong. But I tell you what, do you know what the highlight of my week has been? And it's been a really good week. I've been doing lots of stuff. We get a new dishwasher. I am absolutely buzzing about that, because we've not had a dishwasher for 2 weeks, and my hands are like sandpaper. Her indoors, I wouldn't want her to ever appear at a sink, so I had to do it. And we get the new one yesterday, and I'm just buzzing about it. And I don't think that makes me sad.
Cracking bit of kit, Cracking bit of kit.
Aye, I mean, it's got drawers in it, and there's a bit for the cutlery, and a bit.
Does it
you
get
put the
Bluetooth?
soap in. I did try to watch UK Gold on it, but I've not succeeded so far. Right, back to the football. So still to come, Mark Walters Grado. Looking forward to having the Rangers, Liverpool, Southampton and England winger coming on. What an absolute legend he is.
Yes, pal. Yes, pal.
Do you know, I hadn't met him until last year when he was doing his book launch.
Have you read his book?
Yeah, it was terrific.
Aye.
Anyway, shall we look back on the weekend's games? I'd like to start with Hibs, bit controversial, I know, but they were ruthless, according to the Motherwell manager, Stephen Robinson, after the game. But are they not a good advert for sacking your manager?
Well, there you have it, I know. Do you think that, I think Robinson to Hearts, you think that's not going to happen now, is it? I mean, I don't know if it was ever.
I kind of get the feeling it would have happened by now.
Aye.
But Anne Budge, in fairness to her, she's gone through the due processes.
They're doing it right.
Yeah, and I would rather they took a bit of time and get the right guy than made a pig's ear of it, as, I would have to say Ian Cathro was, unfortunately. And, some might argue that Craig was the wrong appointment as well. But if they get it right, then it's worth the wait. It is worth.
I don't think they want to pay money for compensation and stuff like that, do they?
I've no idea. I've no idea. They might have to. What do you think of this German fella in Barnsley?
I don't know, man. Do you care much about him?
No. This is the kind of in-depth football chat you get in this podcast. But I mean, you get all these guys that'll just look up Wikipedia and then bullshit you. We tell the truth. We tell the truth. What about the Jam Tarts though? 3 goals down in 17 minutes. A crazy 8-minute period, Austin McPhee said. Is Ayrshire rocking after that?
I would imagine it would be. That's a great result for Killie. I watched some of the game live on Gordon Sawyer's feed. He sits and literally records the full game. Honestly, that's what I watched some of the... See when
what you mean on Twitter?
No, Facebook. He Facebook lives it. That's how I saw the...
Nuts.
That's how I saw the game where they get put out by the Welsh team.
Oh yeah,
it was brilliant. He's just giving commentary. That's it. I'm fucking gone. I'm gone. Fuck it. We're gone. It was hilarious. He does it every game, man.
What about Hearts Ibrox on Sunday? Are you feeling good about that?
You know what? I think I'm confident that Rangers can win that game easily. But as I say, we played at the weekend. We didn't play our best. I don't think the result really flattered us. Is that what you say? Flattered us?
Yeah.
Is that what you say? Aye. But Kent.
I think the result did flatter.
Aye, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
If the result flattered us. And I expected for when Ryan Jack scored, I thought, right, we're going to take goals off them. And Hamilton played really, really well. Really well. Missed an
right off
absolute
Hamilton
sitter.
at your peril.
What?
Right off Hamilton at your peril.
Aye. They missed an absolute sitter. If that went in, it could have been a different story.
Yeah, 2-1.
Aye. It would have been struggle to come back for that.
Can I tell you, I was chatting to Walter Smith yesterday on the phone. Very briefly.
Are you alright?
Big time.
What's that name just dropped?
Hello, huh? There you go.
Listen, wait till you hear who else I've spoken to yesterday. But I spoke to Walter yesterday and I said to him, is it just me or are Rangers winning games that they wouldn't have won last year?
Aye, they totally are.
And he said, yeah, they're winning games when they're playing badly.
Aye.
And that's a big step forward for them. And I think Liverpool are doing the same thing down south.
Aye. And I think that happened quite a lot under Walter as well, didn't it?
Oh,
They grinded it out. They grinded out the results.
Celtic do that. They grind out wins when they're not playing well. And that's how you win championships. And I think that's what makes this season so much more difficult to call than even last year.
It's a nervy month. It's a nervy month. And I'm not going to get to see any because of bonus days. It's Geppetto.
Hey, Geppetto. Final week of rehearsals?
Yep.
Is it going well?
Aye, it's going well.
Shambles?
Going well. So
is that a shambles? Tell us.
It's not a shambles. It's not a shambles. It's good.
We'd heard it was a shambles.
Who told you that?
Shell suit Bob.
It's going well and I can't wait to it starts.
And the Crankies. Sorry, I can't stop laughing when I think of you in Panto and the Crankies trying to undermine you. That'd be a great movie, wouldn't it?
What's
the Crankies trying to undermine your Panto. Are they in Glasgow this year? Have they chucked it?
No, they were at the SEC last year, I think.
Wow.
Aye.
What about Celtic battering Livingston? Lenny said he was thrilled at the performance, but I've got to say, lovely to see wee Griff back. I know you're a Rangers man, but can you reach across the city and say nice to see Griff back on the pitch?
It's good to see them. It's good to see. Obviously, he suffered the issues and he's back scoring goals. Now, obviously, they want to score as many goals as possible because it could end up going to the wire in terms of goal difference. That's why I thought when Ryan Jack scored on Sunday, I thought, right, come on, keep scoring, but it didn't happen.
Listen, Rangers keep winning, but so does Celtic. Bigger margin, 4-0 against Livy. Which of the two Old Firm teams, as we count down to the Betfred Cup final, which of the two Old Firm teams is the form team?
I think they're both on form.
True.
But at the end of the day, you can yourself. It goes out the window. Old Firm days. Well, it depends what happens on the day, I think.
I think the best team generally wins.
Do you think? Aye.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been very well, you know what I mean by that. I think it's a cliche to say that the form guide goes out the window.
Do you think that?
Yeah, I do. Over the years, very infrequently has it happened. And it's usually the gutsiest team that wins it as well. The team that's most on it.
Do you
the
think
team with the most legs?
Do you think the team that wins the cup final is going to win the New Year derby?
It'll certainly set the tone, won't it?
Aye.
It's amazing. It's amazing how many good runs start with a win in the League Cup.
Aye.
Obviously, it's part one of a treble if you're going to win the treble, but it does have a habit of setting the tone for a particular era. I remember when Souness arrived at Rangers, they won the League Cup against Celtic, funnily enough, in '86. That rocked them on to the next era. They won the League Cup in 1990. That got them started on 9 in a row as well. And you look at, Celtic winning under Strachan. It was a strong period for Strachan. So it does set the tone, and but we'll talk about it more next week. But our guest, Mark Walters, scored the winner in an Old Firm League Cup final, that 1991. We'll chat to him about his memories of that. And St Mirren against Ross County. Saints off the bottom of the table. Did you see Sam Foley's goal?
No, I've not seen any goals this weekend. I've not seen any wrestling. I've seen... the only thing I've seen, The Crown. Been watching The Crown.
All right, okay.
Before I go to my bed at night. And I'm starting at Series 3.
Right.
Because Series 1 and 2 is like the 40s and the 50s. Series 3 is the 60s.
Right,
it's quite good. Olivia Colman is the queen.
Mm-hmm. Saucy?
It's no saucy. It's a bit boring, actually. But I like to watch it because they've got the biggest budget in Netflix. I like to watch all the kind of special effects and shit like that.
I've just started watching a Netflix thing called Nominated Survivor, something like that. Have you seen it?
No.
With Kiefer Sutherland.
No.
Designated Survivor. It's absolutely superb.
You know
Have
what's
you
good as
seen it?
well? Do you know what's good as well? Maradona in Mexico. He's taking over the Mexican team, and it follows him for when he arrives at the team's airport and the first game and all that. It's really, really good. Get that in your diary to watch that too.
Nah, he gave me a custard pie.
So he did, that's right. Aye.
Sodom. Ross County with that win for 2 months, by the way. And St Mirren, we'll talk about them later, but can they get an away point?
For love nor money.
They've not had one. Final game, this is the last game of this particular round of fixtures. St Johnstone against Aberdeen. Andy Considine, 500 games for the Dandy Dons. Can I give you the opportunity to say, well done?
Aye, all right. You can do it.
And it finished 1 each, and Stevie May didn't score, but that was a good point for St Johnstone.
It certainly was.
As you know by now, Who Knows Wins is the home of social betting, and they're changing the culture of gambling. Bookies have been taken out of the equation by this, and you can now bet on sports, not against the bookie, but against your mates. I do it against John and against Grado and against some of you listeners. Join in as well. The more of you involved, the more you win. Got to give a shout out to some of our winners at the weekend, just gone by, of course, who all tied in first place. So they all... So, I mean, the pot was divvied up, and they all won £33.35.
Get in there.
Chris Alberts.
That's around, innit?
That can't be his real name. Fraz and Wallace split the pot. It was a small pot, and they split it 3 ways.
No, loads more.
Was it loads more? Oh, big.
So that's what I'm saying. Everybody gets the money, didn't they? It got split
Not
up.
me. I have not won a teapot of it yet.
I'm going to go for it this week. But
I was done in actually this week by Auchinleck Talbot. Drawing.
Did you back them?
Broth? Yeah.
Aye.
I know. I backed a Broth.
Right.
Dick Campbell's Maroon and White Army. Now, download the app on the Apple App Store or Google Play for more information. Visit their website at www.whoknowswins.com.
You then just need to set up a league, an entry fee, choose your matches, invite all your pals, and you predict the outcome of the games that we've picked. So the person with the most correct predictions wins the pot of money, and you can also join preset public leagues with larger pots of money competing against players from all over the UK. So get involved now by downloading the app on Apple or Google Play by typing in Who Knows Wins. This week we've picked 6 games for your chance to take our money with a £5 entry fee. The games are...
Hibs v Kilmarnock. Hibs, of course, have suddenly found the feet. Debut win for Jack Ross against Kilmarnock, who, well, is up shop against Hearts, battered Hearts. Tough one to call that one.
A draw, I'm going to go for that.
I'm going to go for a Hibs win. I think they're on fire at the moment. Motherwell against Saint-Janson.
You can see Motherwell winning that.
Yeah, Saints, good point against the Dandy Dons, so I still think St Johnstone have got a wee run in them. Matty Kennedy looked like a bit of form was shown at the weekend there. And Livy against Hamilton Accies, who almost did something against Rangers, despite what you said.
Yep. I can see that being a result for both of them.
Livy have not won in their last 6 games. I'm going to go for Hamilton for that one. Now, in the Championship, it's the Pars against the Jags, Dunfermline against Partick. A good home draw you gave them in the Scottish Cup against
Certainly,
Celtic.
yeah.
Cheers, thanks for that. Out the cup. A few quid though.
Aye, I believe Jerry Britton was thanking me for getting that result.
Getting the home draw.
Aye, because that'll bring a lot of money into the club, won't it?
Yeah, big Celtic fan, ex-Celtic player, Jerry as well. Good player for Bishop Briggs. All right, Jerry. So are you going to back Thistle against the Pars?
That's a tough one for Partick, isn't it?
Aye, I'm going to say them firmly.
Aye, I'm going to go for
And from
Dundee.
League One, Airdrie against East Fife.
Who get pumped to have GSC?
Yes, BSC.
BSC.
Yeah, in the Scottish Cup. What? I don't know what result that was for the old Fife. How many times have East Fife won the League Cup?
Twice.
3 times.
Ah, nearly, mate.
They won it 3 times before Celtic had even won it. There you go.
Did we not talk about that before on here?
Yeah,
Aye,
I
we
was just checking you were listening. I'm going to go for Airdrieonians in that one. And from League Two, finally, the soon-to-be professionals of Queen's Park against Edinburgh City. Interesting. Great result for Queen's Park, by the way, knocking out Queen of the
Queen of
South,
the South,
at Palmerston.
Did you see that comment?
No, I didn't see that coming out. They also knackered my who knows wins. I'm going to go for Edinburgh City in that one, just to annoy Mark Roberts.
Aye, I'm going to go for Queen's Park. Good luck to all involved. As I say, remember, the money doesn't go to the bookies. The money goes to you and your pals.
And not me yet. Who are you? So, we've been a bit sneaky this week in Who Are You? Because we've brought in the fella that we've been talking about earlier in the show, and I pretended not to know who he is. In fact, I know him very well. It is Kieron Achara, the star of the Scottish Cup draw. Now, there was one guy in the Scottish Cup draw who made a complete arse of it by not finding the camera with the ball, and there was a consummate professional who looked the part. And Mr. Achara, that was you.
Oh yeah, it was definitely an experience, I would say.
Working with Grado or doing the draw?
Both, all of the above. I know Grado is he's unique. I would like to say that's the word I would use. Unique.
Was that your first time in meeting the ball boy?
It definitely was. I saw him back in, obviously professional now, get the makeup. But yeah, I was excited to see him. I'd seen him try at a netball game before, trying some shot. And I was like, I just knew he's just a freak of nature, athlete. You know, he can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, he can do everything badly. Yeah, I'm a bit like that myself, in fairness to him. So anyway, of course, Grado is out of the room at the moment, and we're going to bring him in a few minutes, and he's going to try and guess who you are. Now, the one thing that crosses my mind here, being Scotland's top basketball player, now retired, of course, you stand out from the crowd a wee bit in terms of your height. How tall are you?
I stopped counting after like 6'6", but I think I'm around about 6'10", I would say 6'10".
I will stop counting when I hit 5'8". I'll let you know whenever that happens. Okay, so you're a yard taller than me. So what I think, it'll be pretty obvious if he puts his hand out to see what you're like. He'll probably think, oh wait a minute, this guy's massive. So when he comes in, I'm going to get you to sit in a bucket over there. Because you'll think you're 5'3" or something like that.
Not a problem at all. To be fair, he will not even remember my name, like half of Scotland. So I think if anything, it'll be it's the big man. That's the line we're going with.
Tell me this: did you enjoy the draw? Because I have to be honest with you, I was never nervous on TV, but I was always a bit wary of doing the Scottish Cup draw because anything could happen. And over the years, it did.
I mean, I was excited. It's one of those situations coming from a minority sport. I feel like I've achieved a lot in my sport. I've worked hard. I've been in the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, played at the highest levels. But coming back to Scotland, it's just, all right, big man, did you play for the Harlem Globetrotters? Like, no, I didn't. But there's just not a recognition of that. So to actually be in the frame, someone actually considering, okay, yeah, would you be happy to do the draw? It was actually a really, really, really good experience. Once I got there, then they started saying things like, if you drop the balls back in, we would have to do the draw over again. That's when the nerves started kicking. And then seeing Grado, obviously, I was like, okay, let's go, let's get this right, at the same time. But it's one of those situations. Like I said, I was very happy to be a part of something like that. It's a great honour. So it's a national sport. Being involved, it was a great experience.
Terrific. Now listen, before you did the Scottish Cup draw with Grado, what was the highlight of your sporting career?
I would say, there's a few. For me, obviously competing in the Olympic Games in 2012.
Yeah,
it was a great experience. A home game, getting to play against like the likes of Team USA in the preparation games, and that was excellent. seen my family and friends play, but the Commonwealth Games was probably the highlight. You know, we as a Scottish team getting to compete for Scotland, playing against England, getting to beat England in the Commonwealth Games. I mean, I couldn't even remember the last time that happened. So that was probably for me the biggest highlight.
Oh, tremendous. And your early days were in America. So what was it like going from Stirling to America, and in a country where they are mad for the basketball?
It was very difficult, to be fair. To actually going back to a little step, I moved to Spain first and foremost when I was 17, and I lasted a few weeks. In that environment, it was just very, very difficult. I went from training like twice a week to training twice a day. So then I made the move to America, and in my mind I'd been over it when I was 16, and I saw the opportunity to get a scholarship. There was beautiful skyscrapers, women with nice teeth. Did you go get that in Stirling? It was just an amazing thing. So I was really excited to get over there. Got over there, realised quickly that basketball was just huge. I mean, you're walking down the street, you were recognised, everyone. And I laughed because my roommate at the time, he came over with me. His parents were Scottish from Govan. He was at academy with me in England in Middlesbrough, and they were the star of the show. Everyone was chasing them. They're so popular. Being a basketball, it was just no one cared about us.
So Middlesbrough, they're all over the footballers.
All over the footballers. Not even looking in the basketball direction. As soon as I got over to America, our ratio, we had 7 girls to every 1 guy at our university. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you play basketball? I was like, yeah. And then can you, I would say to them, like, hi. Oh, where are you from? I'm from Scotland, and that was it. It was over. It was easy stuff. But at the same time, like I'm looking at my friends Scotty. They were nationally ranked, and they were getting maybe 50 people at their games when we were getting sold out crowds of like 3,000, 4,000. It was just a complete role reversal.
All right, I'm feeling extremely jealous now. Did you ever consider when you were growing up in Stirling? Did you ever consider a football career?
I mean, you consider it. I played football. Carst Thistle, anyone's listening, Carst Thistle was my team.
Carst Thistle. They've got a very famous player.
Big Dunk.
Big Duncan Ferguson played for them.
Well, Carst Thistle, I mean, everyone from Stirling who's came up has played for Carst or been associated with Carst Thistle at some point in their...
Billy Bremner, maybe?
Well, that's going... I'm only 36.
Yes, very true.
But yeah, Carst Thistle was my team. Obviously, you start growing. Football boots start to get a little bit small. I'm a size 15 shoe now. Can't get football boots to my size. I remember writing it. I said I played 2 sports at that time. I played football and I played lawn bowls, believe it or not.
What?
I know.
Wait a minute.
That's a story for another day. That's a different podcast.
That's just weird.
That's a different podcast. Anyway, played 2 sports.
Do we have lawn bowls Daft, John? We'll get you back in that.
So playing those 2 sports, then... I remember writing, there was Henslite and Adidas. I wrote both of them saying, look, feel sorry for me. I can't get, size 14.
No.
Anyone can help me out.
No Copa Mundials a yard long.
No one got back to me. Absolutely nobody. That was it. Career over. Let's find something I can actually get shoes in my size. So.
Wow. So I'm thinking you might have been the goalkeeper, the centre back, or were you the big hedonist up front?
I was goalkeeper first, centre half. And then I wanted to, and you know what? It was before the Crouchy days. If Crouchy was about, I would have probably gotten what I wanted. And that's I said, I nearly got to live that dream in America. I started, training with the university teams in the summer. And in America, it's great because they actually do subs in and out, kind of like basketball and so forth.
Yeah.
So the manager had a great idea. He was thinking, okay, let's put him in for corner kicks, free kicks. Essentially, like we were mentioning, special teams. I could get in, get the goals. Do what I needed to do, but my basketball coach shut that down straight away. There was not a chance that was happening.
Spoil sport. What a hoop. Right, should we get this big fella in then? Right, I'll tell you what, so what we'll get you to do, we're going to play a sting and get him in, and during that time, we'll get you to sit in a low chair or what have you got down there? Is it like a bucket or something like that? A toilet seat?
I've got a wee stool.
A wee stool?
There's no way I'm getting back up from that. There's that. Okay, we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Brilliant. And do me a favour, can you call me Big Man just once?
Biggin. I'll call you Biggin.
Thanks very much.
There you go.
I feel better now. Right, let's get the other Biggin in. So, Grado is in the room now. He's trying to find the microphone. This is not a good start Take it away, sir. Who are you?
Hey, so get a good feel. Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, he's got a bit of hand footsie going on there.
Muscly. Very muscly.
Oh, well. Actually, so you wouldn't have thought that this magic guest is...
Fucking hell, how long are your fingers? How long are your fingers?
They're not that big. This is weird.
Smell.
Oh, don't do that.
What? No, I smell them. That's what I do.
That's just
Let me
weird.
smell them. It's definitely not. Well, you're a guy.
Well done. This is a good start. That cuts the odds by a half. Obviously,
That is
obviously
big
does
horns.
work out.
Your
Does
goalkeeper.
work out.
Goalkeeper.
Nah.
Are you involved in football?
Yes.
Oh. It's a football podcast, Grado. Just saying. This is not.
This is so obvious. Do you play basketball? It's what do you call him? Kobe Bryant.
Yay!
Hey! Kieron, good to see you, mate.
I am raging at that.
I was well obvious, man.
Look, we've sat him in a bucket to make him seem smaller.
I was thinking, no, do you know what? Because I was going, well, he doesn't seem that tall but it's the horns gave it away, man. It's the size of the horns, man.
I'm raging
Holy
about that.
fuck. Look at that, look.
I got called
Yeah.
ET in high school.
Jesus.
That was it.
Look at see, take a picture of the horns. Take a picture of the horns, man. Jesus, fuck. Wow, man. I get to see you, mate. You're right.
You said you'd get me in.
See that? The best part about that clip is him pointing. Earlier. But they did move something, didn't they? They did move something. Oh my god.
But
that's
wait a
funny.
minute, he didn't make an arse of it. You made
No,
an
he
arse
helped
of
me.
it.
He helped me. He helped me.
Team player.
But he also went first, so I guess.
Aye, I was a difficult position for me, David. You know what I mean? I definitely had to. Aye.
Oh, brilliant.
I can't believe how quick that was. I should have not let you touch and just ask questions.
Aye.
I regret that now.
It was the horns I thought.
I've made an arse of it. Yeah, I know.
what-
It's shovels.
Then he felt this is
Yeah. Scottish
definitely a man
guy.
of colour.
Scottish guy with afro.
Well, do you know what? I was thinking to myself, did I not just say at the start of this episode, we need to get him on the show? And you were going, no basketball players on this.
Yeah, I did. I pretended not to know who you were.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Which
That's brilliant.
I posted a picture of me with Kieron a few months ago, and I've
Because we were talking
never,
about Tanner the other night, weren't we? Aye.
I've never had so many people take the piss out of me.
Well, that's
It
it.
did look like you just given birth to me.
He's a
to be
midget
fair.
wrestler.
I looked like, on the telly, I looked like Hornswoggle, because I had the blonde hair. I did look like a fucking leprechaun.
Hey, I must say, if you're listening to this, you're not watching on YouTube, you've had your hair cut this week. You've had it cut around the sides, but not dyed. Now you look like a pint of Guinness.
Ah, right, aye.
I think it's nice though.
What was it? Somebody said I look like Jonah Hill at the
I
start.
saw
of
that.
it. Aye,
I saw
did
that,
you
mate.
see?
I saw that. I've just been looking at all the abuse.
I know.
And,
I can't believe two nice lads like you get so much abuse for doing the cup draw.
Did you get abuse or not?
I've
Mental, innit?
not to your extent, but I know it's.
Now you know why
It
I
is
wasn't
there.
on Twitter when I was on telly.
Why is that? Why is that?
I don't know.
Do you get that in basketball? You get Doug's abuse in
There's
basketball?
maybe 3 or 4 that kind of go at you, but you know them. you
Aye.
actually.
Do you not just mute them?
No, but I said it's just definitely, obviously different places you play, because, like I said, when I was over in like Italy, for example, that was okay. There's race, there's everything else that comes into play as well, but it's just a completely different. But see, if you don't speak the language, you don't know what they're saying. So.
We've got Mark Walters coming on later on in Football Daft. He suffered unbelievable racism back in the day. Now, 1989, when he signed for Rangers, you would be at school then.
Yep. Oh no, I'd started primary school. But,
Started primary school. I mean, I would have thought you would stand out.
Well, no, definitely, and that's the thing. I laugh because I look at my life, and you're always looking for role models in your life, and Mark Walters was that. He was just
Really?
like another black guy playing sport in Scotland. That thing's hard to find, and at the time, and like he was a hero. He was a hero in the footballing world. And then I think about, as I got older, now I'm walking down the street, it's like, oh, Big P, everyone, how you doing? I've got that my whole life too.
Did you get how you doing?
All the
Just
time.
because you're black?
Just because I'm black, and that's what I'm saying. Even going through those Twitter comments, it was all big black guy, big black, and that's just how it was. But at the same time, it's Scotland. There's an understanding to it. Like it's like it's not. I don't see it as racism per se. I see it as I talked about this before. A little bit of ignorance in the sense that we're just not accustomed to things. Then I moved to America, or I'm down in London or whatever, and it's a lot more diverse. It's completely different.
You mentioned Pierre Van Hooydonk there. I remember interviewing Pierre mid-90s when he was at Celtic. And I said, how you enjoying Glasgow? And he said, I can't go anywhere. In his typical blunt Pierre fashion. He said, if I walk down Buchanan Street, for example, everyone shouts at me. He said, not only am I the tallest guy in Glasgow, and he's a dwarf in comparison to you, by the way, 6'4". He said, I'm the only black person in Glasgow. He said, there's no hiding place. And I suppose looking back on it, there were very few black people, a lot of Asian people in Glasgow. So, the pressure on him, if there was abuse coming at him, must have been immense.
Aye. And that's what I say, you used to run around with your pals when you were younger, in your little estate and play all like the games like Manhunt and stuff. But we used to do this thing where we used to pretend we were doing like a riot fight. So we weren't really fighting, we just wanted to get chased by the police. And we would pretend we were fighting, so people would then make the phone calls, and then the police would come and you'd run away. And I'm thinking back, I'm 6'6" and black, and I'm running away with all my wee pals. And I'm thinking, they know exactly who I am. Not only that, my basketball coach was chief of police in my neighbourhood. So I was just thinking, like, they must have been like just waiting at my door, like, Kieron, like, what's going on here?
Are you sure it was me, officer?
It's just a different world. It's just a different world.
By the way, you must have been the worst hide and seek player of all time. You need a double deck bus to hide him.
You said that Rod Wallace as well. He was one of you.
Another one. Rod Wallace, a phenomenal player. Again, player of colour, and he even talks about the racism he's endured as well. But for me, growing up in Scotland, I never really suffered from any racism at all. But when I moved to America, like I said, it was highlighted there. But then I played in places like Greece. I suffered racism, the monkey noises there, this, that, next thing. Bosnia, same thing. Hungary, playing with the national team. And the crazy thing about Hungary was their main player, he's actually a real good friend of mine, he plays for Barcelona now. He's black. And they're making monkey noises the whole game. And I'm saying to him, like, what's going on? And he's like, well, when I'm playing for a national team, they like me. When I'm playing for my club team, I get the same abuse. So it wasn't really, race wasn't the real thing. It was just they're trying to get into your head in some way.
That's the wrong way of dealing with it, is it not?
Well, and that's why I was laughing, because I was saying we played against Bosnia, the exact same thing. Whole game, monkey noises the whole time for the GB team. After the game, they're asking for autographs. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you were just...
hypocrites.
So it was just one of those things that I think it's just the social norm for a lot of people to try and get into your heads. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't because you're black, it'd be because of something else. You know what I mean? And I guess that's how you kind of process it in your brain, because there was frustrations at time. Like when I was in Greece, the frustration was it's happening. The security guard's right beside them and not doing anything about it. And then I felt bad because I'm making a big deal about it. I get subbed out the game to kind of let him to calm down, and then I put the blame on myself, and it wasn't my fault. That should never have happened, So I think now, there's a shining light on that issue right now. They're really trying to tackle it, walking off the pitch, whatever. I don't know if it's the best way to deal with it. I don't know what the best way to deal with it is, but they have to have a kind of zero tolerance stance on that.
Could you have been a footballer against the backdrop of some of the...
Everyone always says they could have been, if the football boots would have been in my size, whatever. But to be honest, I don't think football was for me. You talk about. I always talk about embracing your uniqueness. I'm unique. I'm 6'10", black, right? Basketball made sense, right? I didn't see it straight away because I grew up in Scotland, but I embraced that. I found a way to make it work. I utilised that. I've been educated through it. I've been able to tour the world through it. 105 caps for my country. Played at the Olympics, Commonwealth Games. That's all because of embracing my uniqueness, and that's what I say. Jockey, whatever you need to do, embrace your uniqueness.
Yes, I've still to find something for me.
Jockey, I'm telling you, that's the way forward.
I was wondering if you meant that.
Disc jockey.
You do look like a
disc jockey. I know. I look like Tony Blackburn with these big headphones on.
Does look like a jockey, actually.
Sensational. Jockey shorts. Tell me this: when was the last time you met someone taller than you?
That's just how I think.
Hey, I've got him now, Grado.
No, in the GB team at the Olympics, there was 5 guys taller than me. So I'm.
That's 7 years ago. Are you talking about 7 years since you met
There's a
someone taller
guy
than
we
you?
played against at the Europeans called Porzingis, who plays for Dallas Maverick. He's 7'3", so he's pretty tall.
Do you get any, or can you? Is there any basketball players that are young? No, sorry, that are wee and are no shite.
Yes, very. Actually, when I first signed in Italy, 5'6",
Really?
guy Errol Boykin.
5'6".
Even on the my team, there's what happens.
Can
is
we
this
get
is-
him
this-
on the phone and get him to
This
call
is
me
the
big
problem,
man?
right? This is the problem. When you go to a basketball, you get your photos taken with the big freaks, right?
Aye.
That's what you want. You don't care about the 5'7", the 5'8". You
Oh,
want your
cheers.
photo with a big freak, right?
Aye.
So, but there's a lot of good players who are 5'7", 5'8", because for me it comes down to athleticism. If you're coordinated, can run, jump, run fast, jump high,
Tick.
then that's what I said. I actually commented on your athletic ability earlier on. You'll hear that. I said
yeah.
I watched you do the netball, and I'm thinking to myself, you've just got it all. Like,
Thanks very much.
you know.
If some people say I've got the movement of a baby elephant, I've had that before. or an old bag of milk. That's what I'm called. But I'll take that, mate. Thanks very much. That's brilliant, man.
So listen, Kieran, before you go, tell us briefly about what you're up to nowadays. Now that you've retired and you're no longer interfering with hoops.
Aye, so now that I've retired, I'm doing a little bit more. I guess it's just trying to enlighten people in the sense of, right, athletes they only have a short lifespan in the athletic world, and everyone always says, okay, you have to get into coaching. That's the kind of path. Well, actually, you don't. You can do many things. So right now, I've been very fortunate. I've been working, going to do a lot of athlete mentoring, trying to learn to find ways to balance education with your sport, or get a trade, get
terrific.
something. Just have something, because, like, if you look at the statistics, I was looking at the football academy statistics, and there was 96% of the players in these academies will not be playing after the age of 21.
It's scary, isn't
It's
it?
pathetic.
It's actually frightening.
Yeah.
But at the same
completely
time,
failure.
we sell this dream for everybody, and don't get me wrong, I want as many people to make it as possible, but at the same time, it's not forever. You have to find a way to do other things. So that's the two issues, and the other one for me right now is the whole mental health and well-being aspect. I'm really big on that. I know I wouldn't say I went through depression or anything like that, but I could see my mental health deteriorating last season, in my last year playing, and I think it was just because I was starting to question what next, what am I going to do. You start getting the little trolls here and there. Social media trolls I'm probably going to get millions for this today, but at the same time, what I'm saying is there's a way to conduct yourself and find those kind of coping strategies. So I've been doing a little bit of help with that with a company called Frog, and it's really, really kind of helping, kind of promoting that throughout life.
You got to remember, these people that are sitting writing these comments, what the fuck have they done?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What the fuck have they actually done? You get into their profile and it's fucking somebody spotty, 20. No, there's anything wrong with country spots, but what I'm saying is, fuck off. Fuck off.
Be nice. Just be nice. I
Be
say that
nice
to
is easy. Be
I say
nice.
that to them on Twitter. Be nice, please. Be nice, please. Listen, a great role model as a player, a great role model as a person. Kieran, it's been great to have you on here. Before you go, Mr. Achara, I've got to ask you one thing. Would you mind wrestling with Heed the Boy here?
Wrestling?
Are you
I'm
mad?
not touching that cunt. No chance. Are you mad?
Are you mad?
Hey, I'll tag with him, but I'm not wrestling him. I'll tag with him.
I'll give him a high five.
Well, there are legends, Grado.
Yes.
And there is Mark Walters. What an absolute honour it is to have this fella on here. Mark, lovely to see you. First of all, apologies in advance for my sidekick here.
Why's that?
I know him very well from
Yeah.
my charity football days. Yeah, good morning anyway to both of you.
Aye, that was a good day there last year, wasn't it?
It was brilliant. Yeah. I was wishing you to score, willing you to score, but
know.
you just couldn't put that ball in the net.
Fell
I did
flat
it
in my
myself,
arse.
so it's nothing unusual.
Fell flat in my arse. Should have been a penalty, but hey ho. It was still a good day.
Mark, turn pundit for us. Describe that Grado miss at Ibrox Park then. You might want to measure it in millimetres rather than feet.
It was like watching somebody run through treacle. See, when I watched it back, I thought, how slow am I going here, man?
Chewing gum on your feet or something.
Aye, and I've got Kevin Thompson and Alec Ray going, just go for it, keep going, and they're the defenders, and I'm running, I'm going, I can't, I'm going to do it, go to hit the shot, slice it for flat in my arse. Redneck.
It was good. It was good. But A for effort, anyway. A for effort.
Aye, thanks very much. I'll take that.
Oh, tremendous. Mark, how do you look back on your time in Scottish football?
Yeah, it was exceptional for me. It was a great time for me. My career was a little bit stagnant at Aston Villa. Although it was a big club, it wasn't going anywhere really at the time. And Glasgow Rangers was just what I needed at the time. It was fantastic, and some great lads. From Tiny, who was in the canteen, to the chairman, Mr. Holmes at the time. You know, they were brilliant to me. So yeah, great days, great times.
You mentioned Villa not going anywhere, but they'd won the European Cup. What, 5 years?
Oh yeah, they won the European Cup. But you talking about that was about 5-6 years previously.
82, yeah. Now, were you close to playing in that game when you were a kid?
I made my debut that season. But as usual, when all the big games come, all the little young lads get kicked to blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So as a 17-year-old, they kept telling me my time will come again. But even as a 17-year-old, I knew these things don't happen very often. So unfortunately, yeah.
Did you get to go to that game in the Kuip to see them beat Bayern Munich?
Oh, it was fantastic. We were on a tour with the youth team at the time. I got dropped down to the youth team again, so we were on a tour in Germany somewhere. So we were in a cafe watching the lads cheering them on, and thankfully they won. You know, although it was a backs against the wall performance, so really deserved it and got the goal that won it.
Peter Wood.
Who did you support growing up?
Yeah, Aston Villa.
Are you a Villa fan?
Aston Villa's literally 400 metres from where I lived.
Right, is that right?
Wow, so you're from Aston?
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically from Aston, Answorth, Aston. Yeah, that's where I grew up. I used to sneak into the ground as a 6, 7, 8-year-old because we couldn't afford the entrance fee and stuff. And I used to see all the games. We used to sneak into the game. In fact, I remember as a 9-year-old, Glasgow Rangers playing Aston Villa, and supporters streaking down our road. At the time.
Oh, right.
So
and the Scud?
we had to all go into the house and take cover, kind of thing,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How many
Yeah,
naked
73,
Rangers fans?
74, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How many naked Rangers fans were rampaging through your garden?
Yeah, well, as a 9-year-old, they all look naked, but I'm sure they probably just had the tops off.
So you were brought up an Aston Villa fan, but your middle name is Everton.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I know. Apparently, it's quite a common name in Jamaica where I'm from. So there's loads of I got lots of friends even with names called Everton. So it was quite a common name. But I kept it quiet up until I left Aston Villa. Anyway.
well, where did you just remind us where you went?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Just remind us where you went after Rangers.
I went to Liverpool. Yeah. Liverpool,
So was that? Did you have a bit of explaining to do then?
Absolutely, yeah. But funny enough, I nearly joined Everton when I left Aston Villa, and believe it or not, I'm always a kind of I just have a feeling about things, and because that my middle name's Everton, I just didn't want to go there. That was one of the other reasons why I didn't go to Everton at the time. But obviously I'm very proud of the name anyway.
Aye.
So what was it that tempted you to come to Scotland?
It was a number of things actually. Graham Souness obviously was a big factor. I big admire him as a player when he was at Liverpool. Played against him a couple of times when I was at Aston Villa, and also you got to remember the English teams were out of Europe as well, and I grew up being involved in European Cup games and so forth. But when Graham took me to the stadium and you opened those gates and walked up those marble staircases and that, you just have to be in love with the place, and it was a fantastic experience going there and speaking to him, and then he sold the club to me, and that was it really. Yeah.
I wouldn't be indelicate enough to ask you about the figures, but did you get a big pay rise going to Rangers? Terry Butcher told me that he was on the same wages as Ipswich.
It wasn't as much as people think. I'm not going to lie. They did. I think they doubled my wages, maybe trebled it. But you got to remember, as a local lad, you very rarely get good wages when you're a local lad, and I was one of those. Unfortunately, Aston Villa didn't really pay me very well. I was grateful for all they did for me. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't play for Aston Villa for money anyway. That's for sure.
Now, at the time, your signing caused quite a ripple. What was there a point when you thought, when the newspapers and the media were focusing on the colour of your skin rather than your ability? Was there a time you thought, am I coming to the wrong country here?
I'll be honest with you, because I was so adamant that I want to improve my career and get a better club, and I was not focused on that at all. I just knew that going to Glasgow Rangers was going to help me as a player. You know, you got to remember I was playing with some world-class players at Glasgow Rangers, and I just knew that training with them, playing with them was going to help me as a person and as a footballer. So that was the most thing I concentrated. The club, if you like, shielded me from a lot of that anyway. So the club was fantastic. So I just had to focus on playing football, which is what I wanted to do.
Yeah. What about your debut? Was that was that an experience that you look back on with regret, or as part, or have you made your peace with with what happened that day?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm always been brought up to forgive anyway. So I know obviously a lot of people, verbally abused me, if you like, that day. But yeah, I've forgiven all those people. I just saw it as one of the things I had to go through. I mean, unfortunately, it happened a bit in England, not on that scale, admittedly, but it happened in England. So I was quite used to going to places like Leeds United, Newcastle, West Ham, Chelsea, and getting similar on a smaller scale. Mm-hmm. But it was just, as a footballer, you just knew that it was just one of those things you had to just get on with, else you wouldn't be a footballer, basically. Unfortunately, a few of my friends weren't prepared to put up with that and done other things, but I was adamant I was going to be a professional footballer and that, so I knew I had to put up with it.
What sort of things were thrown at you that day at Celtic Park?
I have to admit, I have to laugh about it now, but there was a pig's leg. I don't know where that come from. Maybe they thought I was Muslim. I don't know, or Jewish. I don't know. But there was a dart. There was a dart thrown at me, which was a bit scary because, as you can imagine, a projectile of a dart can fly for quite a few meters. So I saw that behind me, and the obligatory bananas and fruit. So as I said, I honestly was so focused on the game at the time that it was only when I was running back and there was a lull in the game that I even saw these things. So it never affected me anyway.
Talk to us about, Mark, about Graham Souness in our training session. What was his training sessions like? I've heard, I've spoke to Ian Durant and he says, Souness wasn't scared to fly in with the tackles. And was that your experience, a training session under Souness?
Yeah, he was fantastic as long as his team were winning. But if they weren't winning, he was getting smashing people. And we had this game called Toro, which was basically circle players, 2 players in the middle, the rest of the lads on the outside. And I think talking about Durant, I think he may have nutmegged him, but all I can know is that Durant was about 6 feet in the air afterwards.
You give him no give him a punch?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, things like that. But it could get a bit violent, to say the least. Yeah. So.
Was there a few hard men in that locker room?
Yeah, there was a few. Yeah,
locker room. That's that American wrestling room.
Terry Butcher, but the most hardest and fearless was Terry Hurlock.
Aye,
he was. Such a lovely man off the field, but on the field he was was literally, I wouldn't say animal, but he went far off that.
Was he like that in training? Did you dodge Terry Hurlock in training?
No, he wasn't too bad in training. But as you say, you didn't try to nutmeg or anything stupid like that. You just got the ball, give it as soon as you come near you, But it was as I say, he's a fantastic lad off the field, and got a lot of time for Terry. Yeah, great lad.
Did you have any opponents in Scotland that were hard that you thought that you played against?
I mean, they're all difficult opponents. I mean, I can't remember his name now, but he played for Hearts, and he used to just get me right. I think I may have got sent off twice against him, but only because. Instead of the verbal abuse, he used to do little signs to me, and it used to get me wind me up. So
little signs. What sort of signs?
But I can't remember his name now.
Was it Walter Kidd? Maybe he did a red.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
the grey hair.
I used to have so much problems with him. I just don't know. I don't know why, but he used to just wind me up, and admittedly, I used to bite.
His nickname was Zico. Can you see why?
Yes, I can. Yeah, yeah. For his.
He was a hard boy.
I think it was, yeah.
He was a hard boy. Listen, what was the highlight? What was the big game for you playing for Rangers?
Well, it was obviously the debut. The debut was a fantastic experience. 60,000 people. Really intense. I mean, looking around the change rooms, you had Terry Butchers, you had Ray Wilkins, Richard Goffs, Coisty. Great players who were there, and I remember, as I said, my career had stagnated a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I was coming up to play with some great players and some great atmospheres. So the first game was memorable, without a doubt. Obviously, we lost the game, but even after the game, I was still delighted to be there and humbled about how the supporters had taken to me, even in the first game. So the Rangers fans are my ace and tat days. So it was really good. The first game was brilliant. And maybe slightly just behind that is my first goal I scored against Raith Rovers. I really enjoyed that. Knowing that my name would always be linked with Rangers, having scored a goal as well. So that was a great time for me as well.
And that first season, your debut was January, the New Year game, 1988. Yeah. Celtic won that game, and as generally happens, you win the New Year game, you win the league. And so when you didn't win the league in that first season, was that a bit of a shock to you? Did you expect to win it?
No, I wouldn't expect to win. As I said, I knew where we were in the league at the time. It was always going to be a tough ask to win the league that year. But winning that game would have helped, obviously. But I knew it wasn't going to be a foregone conclusion that we were going to win the league that year. So it was just a stepping stone. The manager gave me I feel like an itinerary of what he planned for that season, and then obviously Europe the next year and so on. So it wasn't the end of the world that we lost the league that year. But I knew the forthcoming seasons would be better.
So you were there for the start of 9 in a row. But the one I think I'll remember you for was winning the title in 1991.
Yeah, my last game, yeah.
Talk us through that the build up to that game. I'm talking Rangers Aberdeen, the league decider at Ibrox.
Yeah. It was a funny week, really, because previously we played Motherwell, and I didn't have a good game, to be honest with you. I missed a penalty. I think I may have been playing injured, which I think half the team wasn't fit anyway, to be honest with you. Didn't play well, missed a penalty. So that build up to that game, we knew that if we won the game, we'd win the league. If we lost by a certain amount of goals, we'd have lost the league as well. So it was a really intense build up to the game.
Well, if you'd drawn, Aberdeen could have drawn and won the league.
Absolutely, yeah. So it was a difficult build up, very nervous and very intense, and we just all concentrated. And luckily, things went well that day. I was involved for the first goal, and once we scored the first goal, that was it. I think we was always going to win the game.
Talk to us about the 5-1 game against Celtic, Mark. Was that a particular highlight for you?
It was a great game because we went behind again as well. I think Ray Wilkins equalised with a fantastic volley.
Oh, famous goal!
And then I went and I think I tapped in a Ali McCoy's rebound. I think it was to make it 5-1. And I think we had half an hour to go that day, and I think we could have scored another 3 or 4 if we really wanted to. But I think the manager just wanted to make sure we won the game comfortably and didn't do anything silly, so we just kept the ball for the remainder of the game. But that was a fantastic performance from the lads, and to nick a little goal was brilliant for me as well.
We don't have enough time to talk about them all, but remind us how many Old Firm game goals you got, Mark.
I think I got 7. Is
that all?
Yeah, brilliant. I was really pleased with my tally on that because obviously considering I played wide.
Yeah, but, it's an incredible tally.
It was great to get the goals. Really, any goal is great, but to score against the Old Firm is fantastic.
We've got. I put out on my Facebook and on my Twitter account and Instagram the last couple of days that you were coming on asking for questions. We've been engulfed with questions, but one here that comes to mind right away is Thomas Marshall, who says the goal that Mark scored direct from a corner kick against Celtic. Did he mean it?
Well, after 25 years, I said I did, but if I'm really honest with myself, it was a bit of a fluke.
Oh, really?
I think I've done something like that, scored, but I kind of hit the ball and it hit the turf and it kind of sliced it slightly. And the thing happened there, it was a windy day as well, if I remember as well, and it went straight in the goals. But for about 25 years, I said I meant it, but I never really.
Now, I've got another question on racism here from one of our listeners, which I think is a really, really good point. From Mark Smith, he says it's huge at the moment. It's a huge problem in football at the moment, racism. Do you think, Mark, that more can be done to stamp it out? And if so, what more can be done at this particular time? Because there's obviously big advances from when you played, but it's creeping back in again in certain places.
It's difficult, really. I've been brought up to just get on with it, improve, or show them that a good player you are. So it's difficult, but when the England players threatened to walk off the field, it did seem to do something. They stopped it. So, I'm not the advocate of that, if I'm really honest, just to walk off the field. But if they have that option, that it's getting just so ridiculous that they can walk off, then why not? As you say, it's been going on for all my career and beyond. So
should you have done that in your? Should the players have done that in your day? Would that have
As I said, I've not been brought up to do that. You know, the way I've been brought up is to show them how good you are and to you know, if you walk off the field, that would be like they've won. You know, so I've never been brought up like that. But you know, what can you say in this day and age with all the social media and that, they need to try something else maybe, and maybe that's the thing to try. I don't know, but personally, I wouldn't want to walk off the field. I would want to go and stay on the field and prove them wrong, and maybe the authorities do something about it after the game, maybe. But for me, walking off the field would be, as if they've won it, if you like.
Mm-hmm. Mark, we've got a question here from Miko on Twitter, and he asks, as the inventor, do you receive royalties every time a double shuffle is carried out these days?
Oh, I wish. To be fair, I can't even claim fame to it, really. You know, it was young, so I thought to do it first. But I kind of adapted a little bit because, I was two-footed. I could go left as well as right.
Aye.
So Johan Cruyff done a version of it, and I went into the park the same day, or the garden behind our house, and tried it for about 10 hours, you know. So that's the reason why I did it. But I'd love a little £10 every time I saw someone do it. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, you were the first to do it though, weren't you?
The way I do, yeah, I think so. I don't remember anybody else doing it the way I did it, but yeah. You know, someone's got to be first. I'm glad it was me.
Yeah, that's a terrific question, Miko. Thank you very much for that on the Twitter account here. Jim has tweeted and said, "Ask Mark who is the biggest joker and the wind-up merchant at Ibrox."
There was a few, you know. I think the old.
We've only got an hour.
The normal ones that you can think of, but the funniest man that I ever came across was the late Neil Cooper. He was the most hilarious person I've ever come across. He was just having his stitches all the time, and without that, he got me through my time at Aston Villa at the end there, where it was a bit of a dour place. So when I worked with him at Aston Villa, he was actually a joy to be around. And
he joined you at Rangers.
He joined at Rangers and made it. To be fair, I think I had a bit of input into coming to Rangers. Oh. I remember Souness and Walter asking me, you know, what I think of him and blah blah blah, and he's a good player and what's his temperament like. And I bigged him up and I told him, you know, you should get him. So I like to think I was an integral part of him coming to Rangers.
What sort of stuff did Tatty get up to then?
The stuff that's broadcastable, or
it's a podcast. It doesn't need to be broadcastable.
There's not much, to be fair. There's not much that's broadcastable, but all I remember, he used to do impersonations of whoever was at the time, and the late Billy McNeil. He had him off to a tee, and we had a Christmas party, and he actually done a solo performance of about 5 minutes of all the things that the late Billy McNeil used to say during our team meetings, and it was absolutely hilarious. And to this day, I can still remember all the things. But again, I can't tell you exactly what it was because it's not broadcastable, you know.
Oh, it's good to hear. It's good to hear some stories about Big Neely. He was a lovely, lovely guy, and he's sorely missed, particularly in Aberdeen, of course. Listen, we don't have much more time. What Paul Kennedy's asking, he's asking who was the best player that you played with. Let's make it simple. Who was number one to begin with?
Number one, I have to say John Barnes. You know, I know he was a Celtic manager for a period of time, but without doubt the best player I've played with. Although he was predominantly left-sided, his right side was just as good as anyone. And he was big, strong, pacey as well. Could head the ball. You know, he was just a complete player for me. So, an attacker. I always love watching attacking players. So, John Barnes was the best player I've actually played with.
Oh yeah. Right, Matt. I know you need to shoot off, but I'll ask you one more question. Right, if you had to pick your best 11 when you played at Rangers, could you do it?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, Gary Stevens right back. After Gary, Stuart Monroe left back. Mm-hmm. Woodsy in goal.
Woodsy
in goal. Yeah, centre half. Goffey, Terry Butcher. Midfield, Durrani. I think Durrani would have been a fantastic player, even better than he was if he hadn't got that bad injury. Trevor Stephen on the right side. I don't know. I'd probably have to put myself in on the left.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So one last midfield berth to fill then.
It'd have to be probably Ray Wilkins.
Souness in the bench.
Pardon?
So Souness on the bench.
Yeah, but you got to remember, I didn't play with him much at Rangers. I played against him at Liverpool, but I'm talking about when I was at Rangers.
Yeah, okay.
So I think, Ray Wilkins probably. Out front, Coisty and Mark Aitley. I think that's the best 11 that I've played with. Obviously people like Davy Cooper, who I never played with a lot with, but was a big admirer of his before I came to Scotland. He'd be obviously around there in his heyday. But there's some, I played with some world-class players at Rangers, so I'm very blessed.
Now, if your signing caused a bit of a stir, were you quite pleased in July 1989 when another fella came in who caused an even bigger stir?
You talking about Mo?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Mo took the pressure right off me. I always remember saying, thank God you've come here, Mo. You took the pressure right off me. I had no more hate mail or nothing. It was all directed through him, So it was a good lad, Mo. Obviously, it took a lot of stick and so forth, but more importantly, he was a good player, and he definitely improved our squad and one of the best finishers I've been lucky enough to play in the team with.
And Mo came in 1989. You left in 91, so you had a couple of years playing with all these guys and playing at a really, really top level with Rangers. When Graham Souness left, what was that moment like for you and for the rest of the squad in April 91?
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing at the time. I remember because I just thought we still had a lot to do, particularly in Europe and so forth. But I suppose you could understand. I mean, at the time, I remember saying, if you did well at Liverpool, for instance, you'd become the next Scotland manager and things like that. So I suppose for his career, he probably did the best thing for himself. And unfortunately, he had to leave at Rangers. But if we'd have known what was going to happen with Walter taking over and stuff, so forth, and the input he had, I suppose we'd have never worried. But at the time, it was a bit difficult for the lads to understand why he'd left us, if you like.
When did you know that you were following Graham Souness?
I think it was I come back from a holiday pre-season,
right?
And I think I still had an injury I played for England in the summer there, and I still had a bit of a hamstring injury, and I came in and I wasn't 100% fit to train, and then I got a call saying that. From Walter saying that Suey was interested in taking me over there, which obviously at the time I was a bit shocked. But like the first time he called me, he's got not the kind of man you leave hanging, and so I went to speak to him, and luckily things went well, and I signed.
Did you ever regret leaving Rangers at that time, or could you have lasted it more, or had enough? Did you have enough of being the centre of attention?
It was a difficult decision. I mean, the chairman at the time, Mr. Murray, he did tell me I was going to regret it because Rangers were just lifting up again. We're going to obviously win the league again, and they were going to build again, and maybe even do better in Europe. So. At the time, I had a few hours to think about it, and at the time, it was the right decision, I thought, at the time. But with hindsight, maybe I should have stayed a bit longer.
Okay.
Because, things were just even warming up even more at Rangers. And Liverpool, we were in a transitional period, so it took 2 or 3 seasons to even get that going down there. So with hindsight, maybe I should have stayed another year at least.
See, when you played for Liverpool, you were at the club at the time where the likes of Robbie Fowler was coming through and McManaman and Redknapp. Were you able to pass on a lot of your wisdom, what you had learnt through the years to them?
Off the field maybe, but not on the field. But no,
Space Boys.
These were great young players at the time, and Souness brought them in, possibly maybe too quickly for their long-term development, but they put him in at deep end, and most of them swam at the time. Robbie obviously became one of the great goal scorers of all time at Liverpool, and McManaman as well obviously had a great career there. Redknapp had a great career.
What were they like in the dressing room?
So they're all going to be good players, yeah.
What were they like in the dressing room, those lads? Because they were pretty cocky. They were known as the Spice Boys, weren't they? What were they like in the dressing room?
Yeah, very similar. Very similar. Had all the gear. Obviously the ladies liked them, and they were funny lads. They were young single lads, so you can't blame them really. Driving around in Porsches and stuff, so fair play to him.
How do you think Steven Gerrard's getting on at Rangers, Mark?
I think he's doing a fantastic job. He's doing, in fact, very similar to when Souness came there. Unfortunately,
a lot of similarities there, aren't there?
Yeah, very similar. Unfortunately, I haven't got the money that Souness had at the time. But this year they've given him a bit more money, and he's bought well. I like the boy Kent. He's a very good player.
Oh, yes.
So this is going to be a really, really important game coming up at the Cup final. I think if we can win that, then that will set the stall for maybe another dominating period for Rangers.
Tell us about Ryan Kent. What you think about him?
Yeah, very impressed. I mean, I saw his goal on Sunday against, I think it was Hamilton Accies.
Yeah.
Fantastic bit of skill. Took the ball from his right side to his weaker left side and rifled it into the top corner. So you can see why they've paid the money for him, and he looks like he's going to have a great career at Rangers.
2 minutes before that, the commentator had said, Kent needs to start proving his worth. He needs to start proving that he's a 7 million player. 30 seconds later, he scores that goal. Just that's what you get. You get what you pay for, innit?
That's wide players, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Is he going to be an England player?
On that performance, yeah. I mean, I like his movement. He's good feet. He's very direct. He's got good pace as well, and obviously scores the odd goal as well. So he's got the ingredients to be not only a great player for Rangers, but he could get in that England squad without a doubt. Yeah, he's still young as well, obviously. So yeah, absolutely got the potential.
So to wind up, then, Grado, who's going to win the Scottish Premiership this year?
I think it's still up in the air yet. I think this is a very, very important month. Rangers have got hard ties away from home, and I think the outcome of the League Cup's going to have a big part in it mentally for the players. That's going to be, this month is definitely, whoever comes out of this month on top, I think, is going to win the league.
Oof, what do you think of that then, Mark, this season in the Premiership?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the cup final is going to be a psychological boost to whoever wins that. If or when Rangers win it, because I'm very confident because they've got the momentum going at the moment. When Rangers win that, I think that will be a good marker, and then hopefully things will fall into place, because I just feel the first trophy is the most difficult and could probably be the hardest to win. But once we win that, I think we, definitely the odds are in our favour then.
And it's just
you said when you win it.
Yeah, I'm really confident. I don't know why. I mean, I shouldn't. I hope I'm not kiss of death, but I just feel, I just feel that like any big club, when that ball starts rolling, it's like a snowball. It rolls down the hill, just brings momentum. And I just think the momentum's with Glasgow Rangers now. I just think when we win that, I think the league will tie in nicely after that.
And we've just had confirmation that Dave King is going to step down as chairman for Rangers in the new year. So we'll see what happens there. It looks as if there's some investors coming in from abroad. So it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I'll be there watching anyway. I'm hoping to go to the Rangers supporters club in the Wirral.
All right.
I'm going to be watching it there. That's the one I'm planning to watch the game.
Oh, excellent. Well, Mark, thanks very much for taking the time out to come and speak to us. I really enjoyed that. Is there anything else you want to say before you go?
No. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure being here, and hopefully we can play another charity game and you can miss another goal like you did before.
I think the next. I don't see me playing in any games particularly soon, because that was just an absolute redneck that day.
Mark, listen, I enjoyed your book that was out last year as well, that you wrote there with Big Jeff. So congratulations on that, and thank you very much for joining us on the Football Daft podcast.
You're welcome, thank you. I'm just about to give it to one of my Spanish students now. He wants to buy one, so I'm just going to give the book to him now. So thanks very much.
Oh, he's a student. I'll make sure you give him a student discount.
You're
Mark.
teaching him Spanish? You teach Spanish?
Well, they teach me, really, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, but I'm learning Spanish, and one of my students is going to buy a book, so he has a read of it. Enjoys it.
Muy bien. Muy bien. Mark,
yes.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah. Bonjour. Hey, thanks very much, Mark.
It's now time for our Beer 52 match of the week. Last week, we asked for a prediction for the Hibs v Motherwell game, which of course Hibs won 3-1. And congratulations to Hibby Matt Reid. I wonder if he's in relation to Charlie and the other proclaimer Reid. I don't know. Who won a crate of beer. Well done to you, Matt. And now this week, our Beer 52 match of the week is Rangers against Hearts at Ibrox. So all you have to do to win is guess the correct score before 3 o'clock kickoff time on Sunday afternoon. Everyone who gets the score right will go into the draw to win the beer. You can enter by commenting on the link on the Football Daft Facebook page, or tweet your score to @FootballDaft with the hashtag free beer. Winners must be over 18 and stay in the United Kingdom. Now, I was going to ask you your prediction, Grado. Don't bother. I know you're going to go for a Hearts win. Now, you can get a free beer as well from Beer 52. All you need to do is go to beer52.com/daft. That is the best website address ever. Beer52.com/daft, and we'll sort out free beers if you cover just the £4.95 for the postage. You normally get 8, but as you're a football daft punter, we'll give you 2 extra free beers. That's a total of 10 free beers. Your first box will be sent out to you the next day and contains beer from all over this month's chosen destination, which is Korea. It's a monthly subscription service for beer, and Beer52 don't hold you to ransom. You can leave anytime. So just go to beer52.com/daft to get your first case of 10 beers for free. 3-0 Rangers. Oh, is that it?
What?
Is that it? Are we done?
mean?
Are we good? Can we
so.
go home now?
Oh, fuck, is this recording? Sorry, mate.
I knew you were dreaming there. Listen, we're almost done. We've got some reviews. Thank you very much for your reviews on the podcast app thing. Apple thing. Eddie G has given us a review. He gave us 5 stars as well, and I'd like to thank you for that. So make sure you give us some 5 stars and say that you prefer guest host David Tanner to the normal host. I can't even remember his name.
You're going to need to have a charity boxing match or something like that. Man, I want to see the two yous not fuck out of one another.
Me and Andy Cameron. Is that his name? I think it's Andy Cameron. Anyway, Eddie G, thanks very much. Listen to this, Grado. In fact, you read it out.
I'm not reading it either, man. I'm not saying that.
Absolutely brilliant podcast. Start doing 5 shows a week, and I'll ditch listening to those fannies at Super Scoreboard.
He's actually wrote Al Deutsch, listen to those fans.
Deutschland.
Unless that's a bad copy and paste job for John. No. Aye, it was.
But can I just pick you up? Ditch is spelt without an O, and fannies is, how do we spell fannies?
Fannies.
Yes, I would agree with that. He spelled it with a Y. But anyway, we appreciate your sentiments and your 5 stars. Let us know how you feel about that. Well, that's it today. What about your Scottish Cup draw, Kieron Achara? It took you 3 seconds to spot.
Aye.
What was it about the
horns?
6'10"?
The horns, because he's had him in a box. I thought, I didn't realise he was sitting on a box, but I had a kind of fair idea, because he said as well when I went and asked him if he was involved in football, I recognised his voice straight away. Because remember, it was only 2 nights ago. Not me.
You're daft, but not that daft. Is that
Yes,
what you're saying?
aye.
Somebody asked me to ask you, when you were doing the Scottish Cup draw, were you standing in a hole?
No, I wanted a box because, as I said, I looked like an absolute midget. You only say midget? Dwarf, is it?
Snow White and the 7 Small People.
I wanted a box because I'm only 179 centimetres, mate.
What's that in real money?
5 foot 9.5.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 5'7".
Are you?
And a half.
I liked how he said you could be a jockey. You do look like a jockey.
I look like Jockey Wilson at the moment.
Have you enjoyed yourself this week, mate? You can hit up the road to fucking put your dishwasher on, aye?
I've really enjoyed it. Oh, I cannot wait. I don't want to put it on yet unless I'm in the house.
I bought a soup maker. Sorry to cut you off. I bought a soup maker. I would highly recommend them to buy a soup maker.
Is that a bullet?
It's not a bullet. It's called a Murphy Richards soup maker. It's only 60 bar. You just put your ingredients in. You can press smooth or chunky. 25 minutes, mate. You've got a pot of soup. So last week I done a pea and ham. It was actually quite good.
Out of a chicken?
A chicken? No, ham is a pig, mate.
I know, it's an old TV advert. You'll have to Google that now. Do you not remember that? Pea and ham soup out of chicken. That's clever. That's an old advert. Nobody will understand it. Can I go now? There's nothing worse when you talk
Day
about
one.
I do a cultural reference and you remind me how much younger you are than me.
Well, as I said, when I'm interviewing Mark Walters, I'm like David Brent, man. David just does an odd glance to the cameraman, just puts me in mind of David Brent. It's fucking hilarious. But I've enjoyed myself this week. That was good, man. I'm away to do my rehearsals now, so see you after.
Are you going to bring me some soup next week?
I will actually. You know what? I'll do that. Fuck it. What kind of soup do you like?
That's a good question. Fish and chip soup. Try something mental, like kebab soup. You've
Hey,
got
I'm
to be
off.
a pioneer
Hey, I'm
of
off, man.
madness.
Fuck this, right? I'll see you later. You've been football.
You have been completely daft.
As yourself. Remember that?
Can we get rid of him as well as you?